Alright, we're going to do a benchmark review practice. This first question says, what is the prime factorization of 110? So as you'll probably recall, prime factorization involves taking the number and finding the prime number that can go with it. So something like starting with a 2 and finding the divisor that's going to match it and continuing to pattern off from each number as you go. Alright, so that's going to be number 1. When you find that answer, you've got your 4 options. Next one. Angie has a bag that contained 14 oranges. She put 3 of the oranges in her brother's lunchbox. She put 2 times as many oranges in the refrigerator as she put in her brother's lunchbox. She used the rest of the oranges to make orange juice. Based on the expression below, how many oranges did Angie use to make orange juice? Here they actually create the expression for you, so that means all you need to do is plug this into your calculator exactly as it reads. 14 minus parentheses 3 plus 2 times 3 close parentheses, keeping in mind that this dot represents multiplication right here. Alright. Once you find your answer, you can go ahead and mark it and also practice bubbling it in right here as well. For the next one, it says each of 3 students wrote an equation. Nicole wrote 5 2/8 equals 21 over 4. Eric wrote 5.14 equals 21 over 4. And Keisha wrote 4 1/5 equals 21 over 4. Which of these students wrote an equation that is true? Alright, what you want to do here is go ahead and make it so that all of these are in decimal form. You're going to do that by plugging the number in exactly as it reads, pressing the button that looks something like this. Alright, once you've done that and converted them to decimals, write them out so that you can see whether they're equivalent or not. So you'll convert 5 2/8 and 21 over 4 both into decimals. This is already a decimal, so it doesn't need anything, but this one needs to be turned into a decimal. Once you've determined which ones are equivalent, you can go ahead and select your answer. F, Nicole only, G, Nicole and Eric only, H, Keisha only, or J, Nicole, Eric, and Keisha. On the next problem, we have Frank had $65. He spent $2 per day for 7 days. Then he was given $9 to divide equally between himself and his 2 brothers. The following expression can be used to find the amount of money Frank had after that. And then based on this expression, what is the amount of money Frank had remaining? Again, when you have something like this, simply plug it directly into your calculator. 65 minus 2 times 7 plus 9 divided by 3. It will give you an answer which you can then mark on your answer document. Next one. A farmer watered 3/8 of a field. What percentage is equivalent to the fraction of the field the farmer watered? Okay, so you're going to want to take your fraction, which you'll plug in as a like so, and then you will convert it into a percentage. Alright, that's a button on the calculator as well you should be familiar with. Once you have that answer, look very carefully at your answer choices and make sure that you pick the one that matches directly with your calculator answer. Next question. We have a team of 4 players competed in a golf contest. The names and scores of the players on the team are shown in the table. The team scores is the sum of the scores in the table. Okay, what is the team score? So when it says the sum, you should know that you're going to need to add up all these numbers. Okay, go ahead and type them into the calculator directly, beginning with the positive 3, and you should get a solid answer. These are your options. The next one. A meteorologist at a television station reported that a town received 0.95 inches of rain. Which fraction is equivalent to this amount of rain in inches? 19/50ths, 19/20ths, 95 over 10, or 9/5. Again, you're going to want to convert these fractions into decimals and find the one that matches the answer in the question. Number 9. Which 2 expressions are equivalent? Okay, here you have 4 options of expressions and you want to figure out which ones give you equal numbers when you plug something in. Now, what's important here is to choose a number for your letter. What I mean by that is you have the letter Y. Okay? What you want to do is everywhere you see the letter Y, plug in the number 1. So, problem A, which says 4 plus 3 times Y in parentheses, should read something like 4 plus parentheses 3 times 1. Okay? And then you see what that gives you as an answer. And then you'll also plug in 4 plus 3 times Y over here, where you have 4 plus 3 times 1. And what you'll see here is that I've replaced the Y with the letter 1. As opposed to the letter Y, I've put in a 1 instead for where it sits on this problem. You should do the same thing for each of the following problems and determine which one will give you an equal answer for both. In this example, you get the answer 7 right here, and you also get 7 right here. Okay? So make sure you practice all of the problems and to figure out which ones are equal. For number 44, the cost of downloading one song from a website is 99 cents. Which equation can be used to find T, the cost in dollars of downloading N songs? These are your answer choices. 45. Students in Ms. Guerrero's class must complete at least 40 math problems for homework every week. The table shows the progress of 4 students on Wednesday. Katie, 0.4, D'Angelo, 45 over 40, Grace, 100%, Jonah, 2/3. Which list shows the amounts of homework completed in order from greatest to least? Okay, what you're going to want to do here is make sure that all 4 of these numbers are in the same form, meaning that you should make them all decimals or all and then order them from greatest to least. Number 38. All the minutes used by Miss Larson and her 3 children for cell phone calls last month were reported on the same bill. The bill showed that a total of 1,850 minutes had been used last month. Miss Larson used 462 minutes. Her son used twice as many minutes as she used. Each of her daughters used the same number of minutes. The expression can be used to find the number of minutes each of Miss Larson's daughters used. They give you the expression here. What you want to do is plug this into your calculator directly. That will give you the answer to what the number of minutes each of Miss Larson's daughters used. When you find your answer, find the one that matches up with your answer choices. Next, during migration, a butterfly can travel 30 minutes in 1 hour. Which graph best represents Y, the number of miles a butterfly can travel in X hours? Keep in mind this 30 in 1 hour is the most important number in this question. Try to match that up in your answer choices. Caroline's cell phone plan costs $32 per month. Which table shows the sum of the amounts that Caroline will pay for her cell phone plan over the next 4 months? The shaded area on the grid represents the part of a rectangular wall that was painted. Each small square on the wall has the same dimensions. Here you see the wall with the painted squares in gray and the unpainted in white. It says what percentage of the wall was painted. Right? What you want to do here is set up a problem that gives you the number of shaded squares over the number of total squares, meaning shaded and unshaded. Okay? You want to convert this into a percent once you have these numbers put in place. And then match your answer choices with that of your answer on the calculator. Here it says the teacher wrote the expression on the board. They give you the expression here. Parentheses, -6, close parentheses, parentheses, 2, close parentheses, plus, parentheses. Negative 8 divided by 4, close parentheses. What is the value of this expression? Again, once you find your answer on the calculator, you'll bubble in on the answer key here. All right, this question here says, if you see equal pieces, what should you do? Does equal pieces mean you should divide, multiply, add, or subtract? All right, the next question reads, if you see percent of 75 in a question, what process should you do? Okay, and we haven't discussed this, but when you see a percent and a number together, you're going to want to multiply those two things. Okay, a percent of a number means to multiply. Fred went to an arcade to play a video game. He paid $2 for every 11 tokens he got. If he spent a total of $10 on tokens, which equation can be used to derive the number of tokens Fred bought? What you're going to want to do here is set up a proportion that's comparing your token and dollar ratios. Okay? So make sure you set that up correctly so that you can figure out exactly how much. Again, use the numbers that they give you as your options. Our next question reads, put these numbers in ascending order. Okay, for practical purposes, ascending order generally means from small to big. When you're talking about negative numbers, you have to think opposite, as negative implies opposite, so you'll actually put them in order in what looks like big to small. However, they will in fact be in order from small to big, as negative works in reverse from that of positive numbers. Number 12, what is the prime factorization of 196? And again, this ties into that problem that we talked about previously, where you'll take your given number and you'll split it up and solve starting with 2's, trying to find the least number of prime digits required to get to your answer. Okay, once you have an answer, you can go ahead and find the one that matches. Also keep in mind that these should equal out to this number 196 if you do plug them into your calculator. Next one. The students in a science class spent 85% of their class performing an experiment. What decimal is equivalent to 85%? Here you'll simply convert 85% to a decimal and bubble it in the appropriate place in the box. Our next question asks, how many is 1 dozen? You want to put your number in right here. And followed by that, it says, how many is 2 dozen? And that number will go right here. Okay. Lastly, when you see the word per, what math problem, what math concept should you apply? Is that going to be a divide, multiply, add, or subtract problem? At this point, if you're done, you can go ahead and go back and check over your answers, making sure you bubbled correctly and that you marked every single answer on the sheet while you were working through these problems. Thank you.